better?
You believe that you owe her some money.
I don't think I owe her at this time now.
I have gone to the police department over 5 times.
I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous.
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Kimberly Sullivan is suing her former friend, James Spaulding, for a series of unpaid loans.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 118 on the calendar in the matter of Sullivan versus Spaulding.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, huh?
Ms. Sullivan, I've read your complaint. According to that complaint, the defendant owes you for a loan that you made to him, a loan
Yes.
in the amount of $3,600.
That's correct.
And you and the defendant were friends. You had met through a mutual friend. According to you, he came to you at some point with a tragic story and his need for money.
Yes.
You want to tell me when that was?
September 24th, 2015.
How long had you known him?
About a year plus a few months.
Did he come to your house or did he call you on the phone?
He had called me. We had met.
True, Your Honor.
I don't want to hear you. There's no issue with regard to whether she gave you the money. You acknowledge she gave you the $3,600.
No.
Oh, yes, you did in your answer. You absolutely did. There's no question that you acknowledge that she gave you $3,600. You have a different story about the $3,600, but there's no issue that she gave you the money.
Okay. The first moment that Jay explained to me was at his home. I was sitting on his couch next to him. He was hysterically crying. He said that his home was going to be foreclosed on, that he would be losing his home. I knew that, in fact, there was a 6-year-old, I believe it's a nephew, that is living with them, that him and his wife take care of a child. I felt extremely bad and was very worried and concerned about the situation and agreed to lend him the money. However, he agreed to get it back to me in a very timely fashion. He showed me the business card.
Okay, did you give him a check?
I gave him $2,500 cash. I gave him a check for $825 on September 24th.
That's an odd figure. You want to explain why?
He had been in serious money trouble. He said, I believe he has a car payment roughly of $400 a month. I'm not positive, but he was fearful that he couldn't cash a check that large. I happen to keep cash in my safe because of emergencies. I went to Hurricane Katrina, realized cash is king.
Okay. Do you have a copy of that check?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Your Honor, may I also tell you some other evidence that I have?
About the money, the cash itself?
Yes. Because of the large amount of cash, I said that I would need some kind of collateral. I had him sign over his pickup truck to me. And
I'd like to see that.
I did not. I just put a nominal fee of $1,500 on it because it's worth so much more that if I was going to get the truck, I would make out better in the deal.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, here is the checks, and here is his signature. He signed it gladly when the cash was in his face. Here you go.
Any other proof of the money that you want to show me?
I just have a very messy checkbook register, and I can...
I see the $850.
Well, it's just that I write down notes. I put $2,500 cash to Jay. I had avoided a check at one point because I...
No, not necessary.
Quite a bit of time to come up with the money.
Just a second.
And I was very...
Just a second. I have a question. I know you have a drill.
Okay, sure.
I have a question. Did he ever repay any part of that money?
A total of $120.
When did he pay the $120?
When I was to pick up the pickup truck about 3 to 4 weeks ago.
This is untrue, Your Honor.
When you threatened to go and pick up his pickup
Yes.
truck?
I have retained an attorney in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay, so then he gave you one payment of $120.
Yes.
Now, do you have any proof of that payment of $120? No. You do not?
He has it, but I don't.
Was there anyone present when he gave you that $120 4 weeks ago?
No, there was not.
How was it communicated to him that you were going to pick up his truck?
Verbally by me and from the Candia Police Department. I have gone to the police department over 5 times. I do have statements from the chief, and
Is that a police report or
Yes.
just is a police report?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
there's a couple of reports from the chief because
Don't
the
tell me
first
because.
time.
Don't tell me because.
Oh,
If
no,
you
well, I'm
admit-
just saying the dates. The original was in November.
Just a second.
Okay, there you go.
Well, this isn't, if you could return that to her, please. Okay, now I have 2 different stories that you told the police. So now I'm going to go to Mr. Spaulding. It is clear, Mr. Spaulding, that the plaintiff gave you money.
Yes, Your Honor.
It is also clear to me, based upon the police report, which includes statements from you, that you believe that you owe her some money.
I don't think I owe her at this time now.
Well, that's incorrect, based upon what you told the police.
I never went to see the police at all. I never was down there.
You told the police,
This is all
police chief, and you called him.
Who?
You called him.
He called me.
Oh, well, great. Perfect. See? Always step on your own tie. Now, you had a conversation with him, and you assured him that you were going to start to pay her $100 a month.
Absolutely.
Now, how much did you pay her?
Well, on some of the occasions...
Well is not an answer. I have a date on this.
Okay.
How much did you pay her?
On all right here, I've tried to pay her numerous times. I've had her phone hang up on me on occasions. What you're not hearing is the full truth. I did work for this lady.
She absolutely said that to the police the first time, which she didn't tell me.
Right.
She's money to do work for her because you were...
Yes.
You were complaining that you were going to lose your house.
That is untrue.
Okay.
I never went to her and complained that I was going to lose my house.
Listen to me, sir. How old are you?
59 years old.
I'm older. I have plenty of places where I have workmen work for me.
Yes.
People that I know and trust who have companies. Not people who are going to carry wood from the back to the front of the house like you allege
I
you
did
did.
more than that.
Pay attention. They never get paid up front. They get paid when the job is done. Now, they may get a certain amount of money if it's a huge job, if they're redoing a kitchen, if they're moving my house back 4 feet. They may get a startup money and then bill during the next 30 days. But they don't get the money up front. So there had to be a reason that she gave you this money up front. She tells me a perfectly cogent reason. Now I'm waiting for yours, why she gave you the money up front.
It was a down payment of $800. I have it right here on one of her receipts.
It was a down payment of what, $800 for what?
For work to be done at her home.
Just a second. I'm asking you a question.
And I did some work.
No, just a second. I'm asking you a
Go
question.
ahead, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
I never knew anybody
It was a down
who was paying them up front for that work unless there was a reason. She gave me a cogent reason. I'm waiting for your reason. And if you tell me she paid me up front again because I was going to do some work for her, I'm telling you now I don't believe that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I want to know who the last person was that you worked for and how much you made.
I can't tell you that right now. I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous.
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
And later today,
This is baloney because there was no weekly room rental. There was a monthly rent of $830. You were playing around, Mr. Hayes. Don't play around because, you know, sometimes you play around and you can get burnt.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kimberly Sullivan says her former friend, James Spaulding, owes for unpaid loans.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, it was a down payment.
It was a down payment.
Yes, and I did work there at her home,
Okay,
several different jobs.
Just a second. Now, you're 59 years old, and what do you do for a living?
Handyman.
Who do you work for?
Just myself.
Have you always worked just for yourself?
No.
When was the last time you had a full-time
It was in
job?
2000s, early 2000s.
Okay. Do you receive any sort of disability? That's either yes or no.
No.
No. Well, I want to know who the last person was that you worked for and how much you made.
I can't tell you that right now. I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous. And
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
But you know, I just want to clarify something with you, Your Honor.
No, I want an answer to my question. And you can sit down until you figure
Well,
out who the last person you worked for.
I can't.
Listen, if you...
I can't tell you any part about my side of my defense then.
I asked you a question. I said, you make a living as a handyman.
Various people. I don't have names and addresses, ma'am, in front of me.
Not various people. I don't want
I'm just telling you,
various names. I said, I want the last person.
I don't really recall the last person.
And it couldn't have been within the last month.
Yeah, there was work before her. I just can't think of who they were right now. You know, I didn't bring this evidence with me. Didn't think I'd be happy to have this, Your Honor. That's all.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,600. We're done.
Thank you.
All right, you are excused. You may step out.
I'm very pleased with her decision.
I feel that this was not treated in my fairness at all.
There's no reason someone would sign their car over for nothing.
I gave that to her as something with my name on it and told her that this truck had a lien on it, that it couldn't be taken.
I'm not going to lend any money to anybody.
She sat in there, she lied.
All parties in the matter of Proc versus Hayes. Step forward.
Liza Proc is suing her former landlord, Gregory Hayes, for the return of rent, hotel costs, lost wages, and stolen property.
Ms. Brock, you rented a room in the defendant's condo. Is it a condo?
It's a home.
House? Home?
Yes.
When did you rent the room?
September 19th, 2015.
How long did you stay with him?
I didn't get to be there for the full month, and it was intended to be a month-to-month tenancy.
I'm not following. How long did you stay there?
Less than 1 month.
And what was the rent?
$830 per month.
What date did you move in? On the 19th?
Yes.
And what day did you move out?
My belongings were moved on the evening of October 16th.
Okay. And I want you to tell me, Mr. Hayes, she moved out in less than a month. Do you want to tell me why?
Well, I put an ad in Craigslist, and I went out of town for a few days, and then when I came back, the first night, she proceeded to have this white noise to sleep with.
Listen to me. I just want you to tell me why she moved out. Did she move out voluntarily, or did you put her out?
I basically evicted her from a weekly rental.
You evicted her?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, she said the rental was $830 a month.
Yes.
How much you moved in?
She gave me $830, and $600 was a security deposit approximately, and $200.
Show me that in writing, where $600 was security deposit.
Well,
show me
I just have a
check.
receipt.
That's incorrect.
I'd like to see it.
There was no deposit.
I'd like to see it. A signed receipt by her saying that $600 of the $830 was security deposit.
Well, it's not designated. I was
doesn't
in a hurry
exist.
when I wrote this, but here's the
Oh,
receipt.
I'd love to see it.
That doesn't exist.
Shh. That's what it's worth, Mr. Hayes. I don't have this job because I'm foolish.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
Yes.
Surprised at you, Mr. Hayes. Not surprised that you tried to do it, but surprised that a reasonably intelligent man would put himself in this position in front of 10 million people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Liza Proc says her former landlord, Gregory Hayes, owes for the return of rent, hotel costs, lost wages, and stolen property.
Now, annoying tenant. That's what I read in your answer. You didn't like the noise that she played at night in order for her to sleep. She plays a white noise, but it was a white noise that, according to you, sounded as if, well, you didn't use those words, like you were in the middle of 42nd Street. Nobody else could sleep in the house from her white noise. Lots of other things that were annoying, and you put her out.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You put her out. You have to pay her rent back. Do you understand?
Well,
you have to. No,
I understand.
And that's just a start, because you can't unilaterally, you take in a tenant, and there are certain procedures that you have to go through. If you've taken her rent for the month, which you did, then you have to give her more than 2 days' notice that she has to leave.
I gave her 2 weeks.
Did you give her 2 weeks?
Yes.
Show me that you wanted her out at the end of the month.
This was served to her by my son, Trevor, and this is a notice that in 2 weeks she must move out because I tried to communicate with her.
I'd like to see it.
She was unwilling.
That doesn't exist either.
And I did use the civil procedure.
Well, first of all, this is baloney. because giving you notice because your weekly room rental, there was no weekly room rental, there was a monthly rent of $830. You were playing around, Mr. Hayes. Don't play around, because the rental agreement was based on a weekly rental of $207. That, Mr. Hayes, is baloney. Now, your loud noise is beyond limits, and you have threatened some of my guests. That may be, but the weekly rental baloney is just that. It's baloney. And you had no right to put her out. She's entitled to minimally her $830 back. Now, when he put you out prior to the termination of the 1 month, giving you no legitimate notice,
Right.
and I'm very rarely sympathetic in this kind of situation, but I am sympathetic with you, because if he's not getting along, if he tried to do it legitimately, he would have been okay. But instead, he went into this convoluted argument that the $830 was not monthly rent, but it was $207 a week. Now, if you were going to make up this ridiculous document, at least you should have your figures right, because a weekly rent based upon 4.3 weeks in a month is $193.02, not $207. You got it?
In real estate law, you use 30 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what if there are 31 days in a month,
You
sir?
still use 30 days.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
I have a license in real estate, yes.
Is it?
Yes, Your Honor.
$193.02. That's weekly rent divided by 4.3 weeks, which there are on average a month. That's why your whole story is baloney. Surprised at you, Mr. Hayes. I'm surprised, not surprised that you tried to do it, though, but surprised that a reasonably intelligent man would put himself in this position in front of 10 million people.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so you were put out. Where did you go when you were put out?
I had no place to go.
Where did you go?
I initially went to a friend's
Okay, and how long did you stay with the friend?
for the one night.
And then?
I found motels to stay in. I had no friends or other options.
how long?
I became homeless due to this situation, and until February. Many months of not knowing where I was staying, not knowing where I was
Where did you
working.
live before you lived with Mr. Hayes?
I was occupying a room in another place in North County, San Diego.
Where were you before you moved into Mr. Hayes' room?
I was living in Vista, California.
How long were you there and what address?
I was there approximately a year and a half to Encinitas.
What kind of work do you do, Miss?
I work as a consultant, events, promotions. It's projects and gigs, very sporadic.
How do you support yourself?
I work projects and gigs, so I look on the internet, get hired by different companies to work and manage and execute their events.
And where are you living now?
I'm staying with family in another part of the county
Since when?
since February.
What items were taken?
Honestly, I'm not sure what they might have taken because they dismantled my room behind my back, so I just put everything safely into a storage unit.
So you don't know what items were taken?
Right.
You don't know?
I hope
Okay.
I hope minimally nothing, but I'm still honestly not sure because what was my bedroom became a storage unit, and I can show you that photo in Carlsbad. So he moved out behind my back.
I'm issuing
I
a
now have
judgment for
storage.
$2,330, and I'm basing it on this. $830, she's getting her rent back for the month that she did not, in fact, live there, but she paid you for, and $1,500 for the illegal eviction. We're done here. Thank you.
All right, Judge Judy, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Liza Prock is a scam artist, and it's all over the internet.
There's fictitious information.
I was really scared for myself in my own home with this person living there.
The son and the dad lived in the home, and it was a 2-on-1 situation.
She paid for a month. Bottom line,
The bottom line is I have been made homeless, and I'm very skeptical of living with anyone ever again.
Mr. Cormier seems to think that you scammed him out of a car.
This buyer barely got to hit the road.
I bought it off of Craigslist. I got incarcerated about 4 days afterwards.
Then,
Now you're suing him.
did the car's seller strike again?
He resold a vehicle that was not his.
You have the Mustang back?
No, ma'am. I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Keith Cormier is suing William Bosch for the return of money he paid for a Mustang.
Order. All rise. It's case number 119 on the calendar, the matter of Cormier versus Bolch.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Car has been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Well, this is actually a pretty confusing car case, even for me. So maybe, Mr. Cormier, you can make it easier for me. You purchased a car from Mr. Bolch.
It was September 18th, 2014.
And you had not known him before.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Bolch, what kind of work do you do, sir?
I'm in the oil field, oil and gas.
And do you have your own company or do you work for somebody?
No, ma'am, it's my own company.
And how long have you had that company?
10 years.
Prior to that, did you work for someone else?
No, ma'am, I had another company.
Same kind of business?
Yes, ma'am.
Different location?
Yes, ma'am, Laredo, Texas.
Mr. Bolch, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I just want to figure out who you are. Who is this young man?
This is my son.
You live with your son? Do you have family or other children?
Yes, ma'am, I have 5 sons and 3 daughters, and 2 foster kids, David and Diana.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony, Mr. Bosch?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been convicted of a misdemeanor, Mr. Bosch?
No, ma'am.
I'm asking you these simple questions because somehow Mr. Cormier seems to think that you scammed him out of a car that you sold to him on the 18th of September, 2014. So I'm trying to get an idea of who you are and whether this is something that was a typical thing for you to do. Now, what kind of a car did you sell him, Mr. Bosch?
It was a Mustang.
Had you had it for a long time?
A couple of years.
How old was it? For to Mr. Cormier?
$3,500.
So far, we are correct, Mr. Cormier.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
far, correct. And you didn't know him before?
No, ma'am.
You saw the car parked in the street?
No, I bought it off of Craigslist.
And you looked at it?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
when you went, you gave him cash for it?
Yes, ma'am.
He doesn't deny that he gave him cash, and he gave you the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he also give you the title to the car?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have the car and the title.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was titled in his name?
Yes, ma'am.
And he signed the title over to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now you can pick it up from there.
I can probably need a little bit of help. I got incarcerated about 4 days afterwards. It was at my mom's house, and she was trying to sell it. She knows a little bit more as far as details.
Fine. So you were incarcerated for how long?
14 or 15 months.
So you don't know what happened to the car after 14 or 15 months yourself?
No, ma'am.
But you were in touch with your mother for
Yes,
those
ma'am.
14 or 15 months. Okay. Now step up. Your last name is?
Cormier.
All right, Miss Cormier. Now, your son is incarcerated for a year and a half. He has this Mustang that he has just purchased for $3,500. Pick up the story. Why is Mr. Bosch here today?
About a week or so after my son was incarcerated, I think it started raining. The Mustang had holes in the roof, and I had no key to it. The key was with my son down in Galveston, about 250 miles, to see did he have a spare key, which he did. We met at his office, got the spare key. I explained to him I wasn't really sure about what I was going to do with the title. I needed to know the disposition of my son's case, if I would put it in my name, if I was going to sell it. You know, there was lots of different variables going on. And so we had faxed each other, had called each other on the cell phone. I got the key back.
Bottom line is your son never registered the car in his name before he was incarcerated.
Right.
The title is in your son's name.
Correct.
And you did not register the car.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And he, Mr. Balsh, gave you the spare key that you requested.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Probably a month or so later, my son's girlfriend, a friend of hers who lived with her dad, wanted to buy the vehicle on payments. And then about a month or so later, and I relayed that to Mr. Bolsh.
He has nothing to do with it.
No, he doesn't, but I just wanted to let him know what was going on.
Well, I don't know why.
I
don't know why. There would be no reason to let him know somebody else wanted to buy the car.
Right.
On payments. And the car is no longer his. He has turned over the title to your son.
I'm assuming, I thought maybe he may want to know why he hadn't received the, you know, they send a copy of the title, I think.
Oh, you mean because it had not been taken out of his name? If you or this girl that was wanted to buy it on payments drove around with it and didn't register it, if the car got into an accident, his business is liable. He's liable. His children are liable. His family is liable. So you...
It was a courtesy on my part, I believe.
It wasn't a courtesy. The right thing to do had been to register the car so that he, who had sold you the car, no longer has any liability. Now it's your liability or your son's liability.
My son's, it's in his name.
Well, it's in his name. But then you were going to increase his liability by selling the car to someone who wanted to buy it on payments. Did you sell it to that person?
I never fully got to. He asked to take it to a shop, which he did. He gave me $300 or $400, and I haven't seen it. This person named Adam. He lived with my son's girlfriend's father. He did his paperwork, his books. He took it to a shop in a little town, supposedly outside of San Antonio, to his shop to have it looked at. I haven't seen it since. He was arrested soon after that.
And?
Well, that's the car.
Just a second.
And so I started looking for it.
Just a second.
I started looking for the vehicle. I've got search results. I drove around looking for it.
So now, because of both of your irresponsible behavior, I'm just following this because of both of yours. You have a businessman who's got a gaggle of children that he supports. If this car is in an accident and kills somebody, if this car gets tickets, if this car has any involvement with the police authorities, they're coming after him. Outrageous, actually. Not malicious. I don't think you did it maliciously. But you do have to recognize that you exposed him. Now you're suing him. You have the Mustang back?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever get the Mustang back?
I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Because when I found the Mustang on Craigslist in July of 2015, I called the Pflugerville where it was. I called the police department. They said because it wasn't in my name, I needed to go to the DMV and get a certified copy of it, which I did the next day. On the certified copy, and I've got copies of it, I have, on May 1st, 2015, Mr. Bolch went and applied for a duplicate title, and he stated on there, okay. And then on May 15th, he resold it to a Freddie. He resold a vehicle that was not his.
Well, somebody with his name did that, and maybe it was Adam.
Adam is in jail. He's in prison.
Just a second. Or maybe Adam's mother. Oh, who knows?
Looks the same.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I'll take a look. Did you resell the car?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you apply for a duplicate title?
Yes, I did.
Okay, for a duplicate title, and why?
I guess that was May 1st, 2015.
Yes.
And my son, David, he was at this time involved.
Just a second.
Okay.
Do you know what happened with the duplicate title?
Yes, ma'am. Once we got the duplicate...
Why did you get a duplicate title?
She had called us.
You mean Mrs. Cormier?
Mrs. Cormier had called us, informed us that she had lost the title. Once that had happened, my dad had then gone to the DMV.
Just a second. She said she lost the title.
Yes, ma'am. She said...
Oh, just a second. Well, if you gave Adam the car to take to his shop... Listen to me carefully, Ms. Cormier.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
If you gave Adam the car to take to his shop just to look at it, you would not have given Adam the title to the car.
No.
I'd like to see the title to the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, one of the things you're supposed to do, Mr. Bosch, is put in the date of the sale, because you signed this, as did Mr. Keith Cormier, but you didn't put in the date of this sale. It's a good idea that you do that. Okay, so now she has, her copy is, why would she call you for a duplicate title?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where had the car been impounded?
Once was with her son. I don't know if they parked it. All I know is we got a phone call, and Mrs. Cormier was trying to get it out of impound.
I believe everything he says.
And later today...
Why didn't you give her the car and put the car in her name?
Well, she wasn't around at the time, so I just went on and put it into my name at the time, and then when we found her, then we was going to do the transfer.
You think I'm buying this story?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Keith Cormier says William Bosch owes for the return of money he paid for a Mustang.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Cormier had then informed us that her son Keith was driving, and the title flew out the window. That is the story that we got. We didn't ask no questions about it. We said, okay, But once we get this duplicate, we expect this car to be changed over.
Now, my question to you is, did she ever tell you that her son was incarcerated?
She did. We then asked if we could switch the title in her name. She made the date. She said, next Tuesday I'll be 2 blocks from the DMV. We said, we'll drive you over, we'll sign everything over there, and you can get it done. She never appeared on that date. She called 2 weeks later, and then we rescheduled it again. She did this a number of times, and she never appeared while it's still registered in Dad's name.
It's no longer registered in your name?
Not no more.
Now, is it registered in the name of either of these 2 people? Do you know?
No.
No.
Do you know that it's not?
Yes.
In whose name is the car registered?
Freddie.
And do you know who that is?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is it?
It is a fella who contacted me. He ran our license plate because the car was impounded twice.
Car was impounded?
Impounded twice. He contacted me, said he traded his car. He's about 17 at this time, and at the time that he contacted me. Said he traded his car. They took his car and some money and gave him that car with no title. So he ended up getting pulled over, and they asked him who Bill Balch was.
Do you remember the date of the call from Freddie?
It was around May 15th, because that's the day that we transferred. So it was about a 15-day stretch.
May 15th of what year?
2015.
Did you ever receive any impound bills for your car?
No, ma'am.
Where had the car been impounded?
Once was with her son, Freddie impounded at. I don't know if they parked it. All I know is we got a phone call, and Mrs. Cormier was trying to get it out of impound.
I believe everything he says. I believe everything he says.
Wow.
Okay, good. So I don't know where your car is. You should take responsibility. You got busted. Your mother did not take appropriate caution so that Mr. Bosch had no responsibility for your car. You didn't take proper precaution. Your son didn't take proper precaution. And I find that neither one of these 2 people had anything to do with getting your car impounded, getting the title transferred, and reselling it. I don't see any evidence of that. None. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
I have a picture right here that shows that the car is parked in front of my mom's house, October 2015.
We are done.
Why is our excuse, Jimmy? Step out.
I paid $3,500 and got scammed by this guy.
I think that they saw him as an easy target, and they could take a quick dollar.
They're saying that he was driving the vehicle and the title flew out the window, and I made these bogus phone calls.
You cannot trust everybody, but you know what? It can't ruin your optimism about life and people.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dickerson versus Falls. Step forward.
Robbie Dickerson is suing his sister, Dickens.
Mr. Dickerson, you bought a car, put it in your sister's name. This is your sister.
Yes, miss.
Who paid for the car?
I did.
If you paid for the car, were you making a gift to your sister of the car?
Yes.
And why were you making a gift to your sister of the car?
So my dad can be ran from point A to point C. So that's what I was doing.
Well, but the car is kept in your name. So if you were making a gift to your sister, why didn't you give her the car and put the car in her name?
Well, she wasn't around at the time.
What do you mean she wasn't around?
She wasn't around at the time when I went and purchased the vehicle.
Oh, that's okay.
So I just went on and put it into my name at the time. And then when we found her, then we was going to do the transfer and switch everything into her name when we found her.
You think I'm buying this story? I'm not buying this story at all, so far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
All I want to know is what proof do you have?
Okay, well, he did this because of the ticket.
Shh, just a second. Okay. First thing you have to show me is proof that he called Child Protective Services.
Well, I don't have proof that he did it.
Well, that's all I need. That's what I need for your counterclaim.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robbie Dickerson says his sister, Shalonda Falls, owes for traffic tickets. Shalonda is countersuing for...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I bought the vehicle.
Oh, I know you bought the vehicle, and the vehicle is in your name.
Correct.
And she drives the vehicle, and she got parking tickets.
Correct.
When she got the car, okay? You want the car back?
No, miss.
Well, because this car is still in your name, right?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So you just get a marshal and you go and get the car.
Correct.
If it's your car.
Correct.
But your sister's going to tell me another reason that you didn't put the car in your sister's name. Do you have a driver's license?
I have a driver's license.
Why didn't he put the car in your name?
Because it's his car. He's not trying to give it to me.
Oh, fine. Then that's very easy. Then you were driving the car.
Yes, I'll show for my dad.
Good. And you got tickets.
Yes,
While you were driving.
I got one ticket.
You got a ticket, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Right. Why didn't you pay for it?
I went to court for that ticket. It's right here. I got proof. It got thrown out.
It got thrown out?
It got thrown out.
I'd like to see it, because that's his lawsuit. February 9th, 2015, cell phone use while driving. Is that the ticket?
No, miss.
No, this is no, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Very good. So if that's not the ticket that
That's
you're
the only
talking
ticket
about,
that I
this
got.
was a cell phone use and motor vehicle without
all the
operated
tickets in
without
collection.
insurance was dismissed.
This is all the tickets are right here. So sorry.
Great.
This is all the information for the tickets.
Can I say something?
Nope.
Okay.
All these different tickets.
Right. Them are not mine. Everybody else drives that truck. His twin brother, my daughter, everybody has drove that truck, and they still drive it. I'm not the only one that drives that truck. So that's not my tickets.
Just a second. Just a second. Hold on. So other people use the vehicle?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I am going to suggest to you, Mr. Dickerson, that unless you could prove to me that she has sole custody of this and nobody else is permitted to drive it since the car is in your name, and what she says is...
These tickets are photo enhancement tickets. Our officer is not there present at all
do you have her driving?
to take pictures of them.
Oh, you have... Do you...
Because she's the only licensed drivers who drive the vehicle at the time. My dad can't drive. He has to have
No, that's
one
not what
foot.
she's saying. She's not saying your dad drives. She says that there are other people that drive...
There's no other people that live in the home. That's a lie, Your Honor.
They don't have to live in the home to drive the car. They don't... What I'm going to suggest to you is take the car back. Do you understand? What kind of car did you... Great. And you still drive it?
No, I have my own vehicle.
Just where is the car now?
The vehicle is still at the house where she lives at.
Get it?
It's out of my name.
Well, whose name is it in?
The ticket, it's in my dad's name and her at the time when the tickets was present.
Oh, just a second. So at the time that these...
Yes, miss. They was already out of my name.
So it's out of your name?
Yeah.
And it never was in my name.
Great.
Yeah, but they're coming back into me. So I'm like,
Okay. You have a counterclaim that he filed false child protective services?
Yes.
Against you? I got 30 seconds before lunch.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, these are all the officers that I took cards for coming to my house every night, waking me and my children up, stating they had to check on my kids because I was falsely neglecting my kids. He was the CPS worker. I have proof that the case is closed.
Just a second. All I want to know is what proof do you have?
Okay, well, he did this because of the ticket.
Shh, just a second.
Okay.
First thing you have to show me is proof that he called Child Protective Services.
Well, I don't have proof that he did it.
Well, that's all I need. That's what I need for your counterclaim. Proof that he called Child Protective Services. Tickets. Counterclaim is dismissed.
Thank you,
This
Your
is
Honor.
lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Parties are excused. May step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm just glad it's over. It's ridiculous because it's family.
I'm happy that I received my justice.
It's hurting me because we're not close like we used to, and I would never do that to them.
I still love my sister, and my family's gonna always be family.
I just hope that it's all over and we just get close back like we was and just move on.
You know I love her. Get ready.
Glad it's over.
Mario came to me and said, "Give me your car keys," threateningly.
Why would he threaten you? He was your friend.
Carjacked by his classmate?
Your Honor, he's lying.
I actually don't believe a whole bunch of what he's saying to me.
Or just steering clear of mom?
I never asked him for the keys because he was the one that was driving. He hits another car. He's panicking. He tells me to switch seats with him.
Your son is a fibber.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lisa Johnson is suing her son's former classmate, 18-year-old Mario Ramirez, for wrecking her son's car.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 121 on the calendar, the matter of Johnson versus Ramirez.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. You can sit down.
You are only here because you own the car.
Yes.
You weren't there during the course of the incident.
No.
But this is what you say in your complaint. What you say in your complaint is that this young man is responsible for your car being crashed.
Yes.
Good. Now you can have a seat. This is your son. He had your car that day, correct?
Correct.
Tell me your first name.
Andre Johnson.
Andre?
Johnson.
Your first name?
Mario.
How old are you, Mario?
18.
How old are you?
19.
You both go to the same school?
Yes.
Correct.
How long have you been going to the same school?
I believe 4 years.
Mario, have you ever been to Andre's house?
Only once.
When?
I don't remember the date.
Recently?
No.
A while ago.
Yeah, you could say that.
Were you there as an invited guest? Did
Yes.
you go to a party?
It was an invited guest.
Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember?
No.
Did you ever have a party at your house?
No, ma'am.
Was he ever at your house?
No.
Were you ever at his house?
Yes.
When was the last time you were at? A month, 2 months?
Like, maybe like a few months. Like, 5 months.
What were you doing at his house?
Just hanging out.
And when you say hanging out, you were hanging out with who else?
Just him, Your Honor.
Just Mario?
Yes.
Did you play video games? Did you?
Just watch sports and TV.
How many times have you been to his house? Altogether, in the last 2 years? More than 5 or less than 5?
Around like 5. Just a minimum 5.
And those times hanging around? Just hanging around watching TV?
Yes.
Now, how come Mario never came to your house?
He was uninvited.
Why?
Because of the car.
You mean because of this accident?
Yes.
I want to know before that.
Oh.
I mean, you telling me that you were at Mario's house after the accident?
No.
Was he at your house after the accident?
I believe he was. I wasn't there present, but my father told me he was there.
After this accident, was the plaintiff there at your house?
He just showed up with the mom to complain about the accident.
Oh, that's the only time he came.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you again. You used to hang out in Mario's house. Why was he never a guest in your house?
Because my mom, she didn't trust him. That's why.
Your mom didn't like him?
Yes.
Okay. Did your mom know that you were going to his house?
Yes, because...
Just a second. Did you tell your mom that you were at his house hanging out?
Yes, because even though she didn't trust him, I did. I felt...
Oh, you think you're going to try to get the story straight in your head?
Yes.
But you're not going to be able to, because I've been doing this questioning too long. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, the reason that Mario didn't come out and hang out in your house is because your mother didn't like him. Yeah. But you liked him.
Yes.
So you would go to his house.
Yes.
Did you tell your mother that you were going to his house? Is my question. If your mother didn't like him as a friend for you, if that were my judgment, I would say, well, I'd rather have him in my house so I could sort of know what was going on rather than my son going to his house. So I'm going to ask you again. Don't try to figure out where I'm going. Did you tell your mother that you were hanging out in Mario's house?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
At the time you were doing it?
Yes.
And what did your mother say?
Be careful.
Be careful. Okay. But you had nothing to be careful about because you kept going.
Yeah, because we have violence on our streets.
We what?
We have, like, violence, like, not a lot, but around where we live, so...
That's not what I'm asking you. You weren't at his house because of violence. You were at his house because you liked him.
Yes.
Did you also like him in school?
Yes.
Got it? I'm looking at you because the first line in your complaint is, Mario went to high school with my son, Andre. He has been bullying, intimidated by him. That's the way we start out. But that's really not true. Your son liked him. He was his friend. And he used to go and hang out at his house. And whether he told you or not, I don't know. But it's not true because he wouldn't go to his house to hang out if he was intimidating him. We understand each other, Andre?
Yes.
Now, you were driving your mother's car on the day of the accident. I want you to tell me what happened. And be careful.
Okay. It was on Thursday at 8:30.
Thursday at?
8:30, ma'am.
In the morning?
Yes. And I was hanging with my friends.
Which friends?
Aaron, Sergio, Yuli, Javier. And Mario came up to me. That's because when I got my car...
Mario came up to you and?
He asked me for my car, threateningly.
No, he didn't. He wasn't. Why would he threaten you? He was your friend.
Because that's why I didn't have my car, ma'am. That's why. When I got my car, that's when things changed.
When did you get your car?
I got it January last year.
January?
Yes.
That's a long time ago. You've been to his house after you got your car, according to you. According to what you said to me before, you've been to his house since you got your car.
Sorry, ma'am, I misspoke. Not last year, this year.
You've still been to his house since you got the car, according to what you told me before.
I misspoke. I meant this year.
I know this year.
Okay.
So you're with your friends and
Mario came up to me and said, "Give me your car keys," threateningly.
And
I gave them to him.
And he took your car alone?
No, there were 2 other people.
Where was Javier? Was he in the car?
No.
What about Sergio? Was Sergio in the car?
No, they have their own cars.
No, did he get in the car?
No.
So who got in the car with Mario?
A girl named Judy and I don't know the other girl's name. Your
2
Honor.
girls?
Yes.
Not you?
No.
Go.
And they took off, and it was around 8:39 that Sergio ran up to me and said they got in an accident. And my friend Rodrigo drove me to the scene of the accident, and I saw the damage. And
Go.
Your Honor, he's lying. It was Thursday, March 30th, or 24th, I'm sorry, and Yulisa wanted to go get donuts.
Who wanted to go get donuts?
Yulisa. And I never asked him for the keys because he was the one that was driving to the donut shop. I was the passenger, she was the one in the back seat. We drove over there, we got the donuts, we're coming back to school. Andre's driving, his brakes don't work, he hits another car. He's panicking, he tells me that to switch seats with him. He wanted me to switch seats with him because he didn't want to get his car insurance to...
I want to see a police report.
I have a ticket right here stating that I didn't have a license because I took the fault for him, and it was a $400 ticket unless I got my license, which I did in less than a month, and I paid $25.
That's very nice. You told the police you were driving?
Yes, because I took the fault for him.
You're responsible for the accident. Then you're responsible for the accident, Mario. I actually don't believe a whole bunch of what he's saying to me. And I actually don't know who was driving, but if you told the police, if you swore to the police that you were driving, you're responsible. You understand that? You lie, you got to tell it all the way through. And you paid a ticket, and you paid a fine, and you got your license. And your son is a fibber. Don't believe everything he tells you. Now, I want to see the police report.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
what are rodent disposal fees?
Is the rat that we finally caught. She was claiming that it wasn't hers, but it was hers.
Just to say,
it's
not
a
an
white
it,
rat.
not an it. Can I see photographs?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 19-year-old Andre Johnson says his former classmate, Mario Ramirez, drove his car without permission.
There was no police report. There's a collision report that clearly states that Mario was the driver. I also have pictures of the car if you want to see it. And a letter from my insurance company saying that they denied it because Mario was not an insured driver on my car.
But
Mario gave my insurance
Mario
company...
didn't have a license.
Right.
Okay. Now, what kind of car was this?
The 2001 Toyota Camry.
Where is the car now?
It's stalled in my garage.
It's what?
It's in my driveway, I'm sorry. It's stalled. It doesn't work.
I'd like to see a photo of it. I'd like to see the estimate for the damage. There.
It's right here on the highlighted part right here.
Just for my own information, would you take a look and see the value of a 2001 Toyota Camry? An LE.
Your Honor, on May the 9th, I called Mario and I spoke, and that he told me he would pay for it as soon as he got money.
$15.25. $15.25.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,525.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, step out.
I don't know how she did that, but I was not driving at all.
Mario did admit to me that he took the car.
Andre was the one that was driving. His brakes didn't work,
And that, you know, he wrecked it.
his brakes didn't work, and he hit the other car.
He's lying.
Didn't lie, telling the truth.
Choose your friends wisely.
Yes, because I took the fault for him.
Because you could say someone's your friend, and the next thing you know, they total your car.
Just tell the truth.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McCants versus McCrae. Step forward.
Edna McCants is suing her step-granddaughter, 23-year-old Kimberly McCrae, for unpaid rent, late fees, an unpaid loan, and rodent disposal fees.
Miss McCants, is this your step-granddaughter?
Yes.
Why don't you stand up? You're married to her grandfather?
No, her father is married to my daughter.
Got it. And you're sort of close to her, I
Yes.
gather. And this is her sister.
That's correct.
Condo that you have. Were you renting it? How much rent were you paying?
$787 a month.
And then you let your sister move in with you.
Yes.
When?
May 2014.
And you knew about that?
Yes.
And at some point, Miss McCrae needed some money, and you loaned her some money. How much money did she loan you?
$5,000.
And how much did you pay back?
I had originally paid back the full $5,000 and then had asked for $1,000 of it back.
When did you pay back the $5,000, and why did you need the $5,000?
It was a loan on my tax return, and I paid her back 2 or 3 days after receiving the loan because I got my loan back faster. I had gotten my...
What did you need the money for?
Bills, certain things like that. I had asked for a smaller amount, but because I was getting my tax return, she offered the $5,000.
And what did you need the $1,000 back for?
To purchase a vehicle so that I could have a way of transporting myself and my children.
Okay. And she said, okay, here's the $1,000 back.
Yes.
Did you pay her back?
No.
Why not?
Things started happening.
Things. Okay. So you're not going to give me any convoluted story. Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How many children do you have?
2.
Are you taking care of the children now?
Yes.
You work? No. That's it. When anybody hesitates when I say, do you work? And they go,
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Edna McCants says step-granddaughter Kimberly McCrae owes for rent and late fees, a loan, and rodent disposal fees.
so you still owe her the $1,000.
I do not believe that I owe her the $1,000.
Okay. Now you're going to get into that convoluted story that we were talking about a minute ago. You want to tell me why?
I had originally moved into the condo because my sister, Sarah...
This is going to come back to the $1,000, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have to remember that you told me a whole different story in your answer about why you don't owe her the $1,000. So you probably don't remember what you told me, so now you're going to tell me another story. So I'm just going to put my pen down and listen to it. Why don't you owe her the $1,000?
In short, she was more lenient with me paying her back the $1,000 because I was having children and things like that.
Why were you having children if you needed money? I mean, that's not the way to not need money, have more children.
Accidents happen. I see it as a blessing rather than an accident.
Well, you said the word accident. I didn't say accident. You said accident.
It wasn't necessarily intentional, but I wasn't just going to...
How many children do you have?
2.
How old are you?
6 and 10 days.
No, how old are you?
23.
23. Okay. No, that's it. When anybody hesitates when I say, do you work? And they go, oh. I always know there's a no there.
Ma'am, I'm an independent contractor as a cleaning lady, and when I got pregnant, I had to take leave because of the chemicals that I use and the physical labor that I was put in. So currently I'm on leave from work, but yes, I am employed.
Do you get a paycheck every week, every 2 weeks?
Not while I'm on leave, no.
Then you're not working. Who do you live with other than your 2 children?
Justin Cook, my
Does he work?
significant. Yes.
Great. What kind of work does he do?
He's a general utility at Applebee's, the restaurant.
How long has he been there?
A few months, close to 6 months.
Great. So you owe the plaintiff $1,000. Fine. Now you can sit. Now, according to you, they owe for unpaid rent.
That's correct.
After your granddaughter moved out, you signed a lease with just the defendant or with the defendant and her mate?
I trusted the defendant.
So just her?
Right.
Do you have a copy of that lease?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Thank you. Did you move out in December of 2015?
I moved out in January of 2016.
January what?
I believe it was the 15th.
Month of January?
No, I did not.
Did you pay rent in December?
No, I did not. I was dealing with a pest problem.
Did you pay rent in November?
I believe so, yes.
How much?
$787.
Okay, so you didn't pay rent December and January,
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
moved out in January.
Yes, ma'am.
Stand up, please. How long had you lived in your grandmother's condo?
7 years.
In the 7 years that you lived there, had you had a pest problem?
No.
How long did you live there along with Miss McCrae and her children and her mate?
Originally, it was just her and one child, and she lived there about a year, give or take a month or two.
And when did you move out?
June of 2015.
Up until the time you moved out in June of 2015, and she was living there for that year, did you have a pest problem?
No.
So now you're telling me that the reason you stopped paying rent was because you had a pest problem?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of pest?
Rats.
Now, you have any written communication that you made with your landlord with regard to the rats?
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook.
You over so far $2,574 just for what you've accounted for with regard to the $1,000 loan and 2 months rent.
I still do not believe that I owe her that money.
I don't care what you believe. It's irrelevant what you think you owe her. That's what you owe her. You owe her $1,000 for the loan that she was kind enough to make to you, and you owe her 2 months rent. But you acknowledge that you didn't pay. I don't care about late fees, loan you got. Okay. Now, the other thing that you're requesting is rodent disposal fees. What are rodent disposal fees?
Is the rat that we finally caught. She was claiming that it wasn't hers, but everyone that I talked to said
No, you can't tell me what anybody
I'm
else
sorry.
said.
It was hers.
Just to
and
say,
it's
not
a
an
white
it,
rat.
not an it. Can I see the
Yes.
photographs?
There's a bucket. There's one. I don't know where. And this is where the rat came through the wall upstairs. Oh, there's the rat.
So it was one rat?
That's all that was in the house when she moved out. That is correct.
I had caught and disposed of some myself. I owned a mouse, but mice and rats are not the same.
What?
I said I had disposed of some myself already before I had moved out of the condo, and I had owned a mouse, but mice and rats are not the same.
Judging for the plaintiff for the amount of...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Mr. Comier seems to think you scammed him.
He resold a vehicle that was not his.
You have the Mustang back?
I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Next Judge Judy.
I don't feel like I owe Miss McCants any money because I had a rat problem. I told her that I had a rat problem and that it needed to be taken care of.
Never, never, ever, never.
She said that she would take care of it.
I would have moved her and her son out, and I would have had it taken care of.
Nothing.
As soon as I knew it was there, I hired someone to get rid of the rat.
She hasn't really liked me specifically because my dad married her daughter.
No, and her dad and my daughter have been together for 23 years. I mean, that has nothing to do with it.
Well, my family's already pretty much broken up over the whole fact anyway, so.
Oh, it's gone. I have no relationship with her anymore.
I'm just gonna walk away from it, pay her her money.
She made it very clear.
Hope it just dies off.
I don't even know. She won't talk to me.
Time to go separate ways.
Did she evict you in October?
She sent me an eviction letter.
And you received no money for November?
Correct.
What happened in November?
November, my money was stolen out of my account.
Now, this tenant says she helped herself.
She's the only one that had my information. My money was gone. She's the only one that had my PIN, all my social, everything. She stole my money and then tried to evict me for it.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kadisha Fong is suing her former landlord, Juanita Klingensmith, for stolen money and unlawful eviction, discrimination, and harassment.
Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 156 on the calendar, the matter of Fong versus Klingensmith.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Ms. Fong, let me see if I understand your complaint. You rented an apartment from the defendant. How many apartments do you have?
I have a sixplex, Your Honor.
That you own?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did you first see the apartment?
August 27th.
Is that when you first met Miss Klingensmith?
Yes.
You liked the apartment?
It was okay.
So you decided to rent it, and the rent was how much a month?
$750.
And you were going to be living there with?
My daughter.
When?
27th.
Is that when you moved in?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
This is what your lawsuit is about. You claim that Miss Klingensmith stole money from your disability account.
Yes, ma'am.
Which was rent money, $750, and then evicted you for non-payment of rent. So you are suing her for that theft?
Yes.
As well as an illegal eviction?
Correct.
Ms. Klingensmith said, I never stole any money from her. I didn't take money out of her account. She's counterclaiming for some damage that was done to the property when you moved out. Okay. Was there any security deposit?
Yes, I gave her $400 security deposit.
Did you get that back?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you moved in August. Did you pay any rent for August?
Yes, it was prorated.
Okay, so you paid August rent. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you paid September's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
On time?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
What about October?
It was late due to my disability.
How late?
The 13th. October 13th.
And rent was due on the 1st?
It was due on before. It was late before. Yeah, it was due on the 1st, but late after the 3rd.
Late after the 3rd. Did she evict you in October?
She sent me an eviction letter, yes.
In October?
Yes. Two of them.
On what date?
October the 6th and October the 7th.
So what did you do?
I ended up paying my rent on the 13th to move to Reno, so I had to transfer over my disability payments, and it took the Social Security a minute to do that. And I told Ms. Klingensmith that when I moved in, she knew I got disability, and this would happen, during...
You can't tell me what she
what
she knew. All she knew was you paid her rent in August, and you paid her rent on time in September, and in October you did not.
Right.
So after, I assume, you got these eviction notices, you called her?
No, I didn't call her. I just called her. Well, yeah, I called her to pay the rent on the 13th.
On the 13th. So what did you do when you...
Oh, I tried to speak to her a couple of times to tell her that...
Not tried. You spoke to her.
I didn't speak to her at all.
You just paid your rent on the 13th.
Right. I tried to get a hold of Miss Klingensmith, and I have proof of that. I tried to give her a call. When she was in the parking lot of our complex, I tried to talk to her.
She paid your rent on the 13th?
Yes.
What happened in November?
November, my money was stolen out of my account in the amount of $713.
Just a second. So money was stolen out of your account in November?
Yes.
And the amount that was stolen was $713?
Yes.
And?
So when I called Ms. Klingensmith to pay my rent, when I checked my card, the money was gone. So she's the only one that had my information and my card, because September I gave her my debit card to take the rent off herself. She took the rent off September herself to the ATM machine. She's the only one that had my PIN, all my soul. So money was gone. So she stole my money and then tried to evict me for it.
Ridiculous. She was going to steal your money. She would have stolen $750, not $713.
Well...
I mean, if she was going to take your money without your authorization, wouldn't she have taken everything that she was entitled to?
Well, I would think, why would she want me to, I don't know, maybe she didn't want nobody to know it was her.
I don't know why. I don't know why. If that's your whole argument, that somebody, in a case of...
She didn't call me at all for my rent in November, at all. And she usually calls or knocks on the door. She didn't do none of that.
You told me that the only notice that you got from her in October was that on the 6th she served you with an eviction notice.
She showed me, and that's October. We're talking about November, right?
I understand that. What do you mean she always? You only lived there since August. August, you paid the rent. September, you paid the rent on time. October, you did not, and you said the first you heard from her was when she served you an eviction notice on October 6th.
Okay. In October, yes, I did hear from her. She knocked on my door and a few times in October.
You have no case against her. You didn't pay your rent in November. Somebody, probably in a case of identity theft, I have no idea.
Okay, Ms. Judge Judy, I have proof that I tried to pay my rent to her in November, even though my money was stolen. I have proof of that.
Just tell me when.
Okay, I tried to pay...
I asked you for a date.
Okay, November the 4th, I believe. I tried to pay...
Just a second. Make sure you give them...
Just because I didn't have any money... Okay, just because I didn't have any money in my account from that card, I have money back. You can look at my back pay from Social Security, and my dad wrote a check for October. So I do have money to pay my rent. Just because my money was stolen out of my card doesn't mean I don't have any money.
I want you to show me when you tendered her the rent in November.
Okay. Can I look on my phone, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. No, 11/20. Well, okay. We had
Just the date.
11,
I don't want to hear an excuse. I said
November 12th.
You're late. You're late.
Your Honor, we went to court. That's why I'm late. We went to court for the eviction. She evicted me on the 4th. We went to court. The judge ordered me to pay $590 for that month of November. I have that right here from the judge. He ordered me to pay $590 for November. That was from the judge. That was on like the 22nd of November. So he ordered me to pay $590 for rent, and he ordered me to pay $300 starting January for the rest of my deposit. Ms. Klingensmith was there in court. When the judge ordered that, he told me I had a certain amount of time to pay it, right? I tried to pay Ms. Klingensmith 3 times, and I have proof of me texting her saying I have the rent. I had the rent. She ignored my calls.
You're talking about November 22nd? Is that the date you're talking about?
Yeah, because we got.
Is that the date that you're talking about? So just let me understand what you're saying to me. Don't talk fast.
Okay.
What you said to me was, I tried to give her rent on November the 4th. Now you're saying to me that you tried to tender her the rent after the judge second to give her a certain amount of money.
Again, yes.
Your case is dismissed. You have no case against her. You have no case that she stole any money out of your account, and you didn't pay your rent on time in October, and you didn't pay your rent on time in November. You have a... But for the fact that she sued you here, would you have counterclaimed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, you have $400 in security deposit. But she lived in the apartment in the month of November.
Yes, ma'am.
And you received no money for November.
Correct.
Okay, fine. So now you're going to tell me what the damage is.
I have a list here.
Your Honor, she did not make any damages in court.
Don't speak.
I have utility bills that she did not put the utilities in her name.
Just a minute. That's not in this counterclaim. In this counterclaim you have, I had to extensively clean the unit and repair several holes that were in the walls. She didn't pay her rent on time and made complaints about me to the Housing and Health Department. She would call my work claiming there was an emergency. She owes me for the damages, which the only thing that I have here in your countersuit are cleaning of the unit, which I will look at a bill if you have a cleaning bill.
Your Honor.
And the whole... Don't
Please.
speak. Cleaning bill and pictures of holes in the wall I will look at. Those are the only I don't care about your remote. Those are the only things that are in your counterclaim.
This is what I filed when I filed the counterclaim.
I don't care what you filed. This is the only thing that's here. It's the only thing that's here. I'll show you. This is what you signed. You can read it.
Your Honor, please.
That's what you signed. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
We're done.
Unless
you have, just a second, unless you have a bill for the cleaning.
I have a bill for my maintenance gentleman.
Your Honor, please let me talk really quick.
I'm on her counterclaim. I'm not on your claim anymore. You have no claim for unlawful eviction, and you have no proof that she stole money
Your
out
Honor,
of your account.
I'm very nervous right now, like really nervous. If my daughter can tell you, I haven't told you everything. Like, I'm so nervous that I don't know what to do, and if you can let her tell you that I did try to pay my rent in November on time. She wouldn't answer my calls.
Listen to me.
She didn't answer. I have proof.
Listen to me.
I tried to pay before the 3rd. I tried to pay it.
Then I'm not listening to her. You show me proof that you tried to tender her payment.
She didn't answer my calls on purpose. She didn't answer my phone calls.
Your claim is dismissed. It's ridiculous. You want to show me bill from your maintenance person? You shouldn't have left it.
She locked me out. She locked me out.
You shouldn't have left it.
Oh.
No. Counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I felt sorry for her. She was living in her car with her daughter and in a motel room.
In the beginning, I should have noticed how vindictive she is.
And I rented the place to her, trying to help her out.
The racist comments that she made towards me.
And then when I didn't get the rent in October, I said,
she's on my purge list.
This is going to go downhill.
You have to watch the movie.
This is what I get for being nice and having a big heart.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of 2 versus Swanson. Step forward.
Aaron 2 is suing his ex-girlfriend, Christina Swanson, for unpaid loans and the return of his belongings.
Mr. Two, it is your claim that the defendant, who was a short-term girlfriend of yours, owes you for a small loan. In addition to the loan, she has 2 items of yours. One is a barbecue grill, and the other is a laptop. Ms. Swanson says that there was never a loan and that the 2 items that you refer to were gifts from you to her. The grill you bought for $20 at some, during a garage sale, and the laptop was a used laptop that you gave her to use, which she is still using, along with her son. That's the case. You have a counterclaim for harassment and stalking. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you're really concerned about stalking and harassment, and you know that there are two things, and you know that there are two things that he wants back, why wouldn't you give it to him?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Aaron 2 says ex-girlfriend Christina Swanson owes for loans and the return of belongings. Christina is countersuing for stalking and harassment.
Okay, Mr. 2, you met Miss Swanson, according to you, on an online dating site, and that was in March of this year. When and why the first loan?
The first loan was a credit card purchase for merchandise that she resells at parties and festivals.
Oh, tell me about it. When was it?
This is
No, don't give it to me. I'm asking.
okay. It's 5/10/16.
So May, short while ago.
Uh-huh.
And how much was that for?
$205.63.
And what store was it from?
It's called FlashyBlinkyLights.com.
So it was bought over the internet?
No, she went in person, but...
No, she went in person.
Yes, she did.
Did you go with her?
No, I did not.
Did you give her your credit card?
Yes, I did.
Why?
I loved her, and we were in a relationship.
Next. Next loan. Next loan.
It was not necessarily a loan to begin with.
I understand. Could we move on?
It was $300 that I gave her for savings.
Oh, tell me about it.
Like I said, it was $300 I gave her in cash that we were going to save to invest.
When?
May 14th. It's after I bought the property.
You gave her $300 to invest?
It was just to put it away, safekeeping, so that we would be able to invest in property that I purchased, yeah. It was just...
And then?
And
that was in May.
After she had it for about 3 weeks.
Okay, now we're into June.
Yes, we were
in June.
We were in a telephone call, and she had been working but hadn't received a paycheck.
Just on a telephone call?
Yes, and she...
Where was she living at the time?
At her current residence, and she lives behind the guy's house.
And you were living in your residence?
Yes.
So she called you?
And it kind of went like, she said that she didn't have any groceries. And I said, well, you know, you go ahead and use the money that you have put away for us. You know, when you get paid, go ahead and put the money back.
Good. And?
I mean, that's how the conversation went, you know?
What else?
Oh, you mean the property that I want back? That's it for the loans. I mean...
Go. Keep going.
The Surface, I let her borrow when she was doing resumes and looking. When did I let her borrow it? The exact date? It was probably May 10th, May 11th. It's hard for me to have those exact dates because a lot of that stuff was on the computer, which I don't have in my possession to reference.
So you're telling me that the laptop that you let her borrow was the only laptop, computer, iPad that you own? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's the only one I own. I use my cell phone for...
That's either a yes or a no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
My son sent him a message explaining to him he could come and pick his items up with the monitoring of the neighbor I have across the street.
Okay, can I see
He never came.
Can I see that?
He did not. Yes, you can.
See?
This is the text message that my son sent him.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Aaron 2 says ex-girlfriend Christina Swanson owes for loans and the return of belongings. Christina is countersuing for stalking and harassment.
Now, do you have a computer at your home?
I have a desktop computer.
That's what I'm asking you. So you have a computer in your home. And you started to say that you use your iPhone for the other things that you don't have to have. Great. So in May, you let her borrow your laptop.
Yeah.
When did you purchase the laptop?
It was purchased November 27th, 2013, Your Honor.
Anything else? The grill.
Yes, the grill, even though I did buy it at a yard sale for a very good price, it wasn't in very good condition, and I had to refurbish it. And I took it over to her place because I don't know if you've ever been in a fifth wheel, but...
Listen to me.
Oh, yes.
I'm not interested.
Okay.
I'm not interested. It's over.
It is.
It's over. And the only thing that I have to ask you, Ms. Swanson, is as follows. I couldn't be less interested in the purchase of $205 that you made on his credit card that he gave you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be less interested in the $300 that he gave you to hold on to, that you said I have to use. Could I use some of that $300? And he said, sure, pay it back when you can. And I don't get started with when can you. That's not what we do here in
Yes.
courts, any courts where I preside. But you have a counterclaim for harassment and stalking.
Yes, I
And
do.
two of the things that he wants, even though they're nonsense, are his grill that he paid nothing for at a yard sale and his laptop. Why don't you just give them back to him?
Well, because he gave them.
No,
to
so
me.
what?
Yeah.
If you're really concerned about stalking, and you know that there are two things that he wants back, why wouldn't you give it to him?
Originally, Your Honor, I did say I would give him the things back after he did follow us. And he did.
Just a second.
Yeah.
So why didn't you?
I gave him an opportunity. He never came.
What do you mean?
I sent him, my son sent him a message, on my phone, explaining to him that we could get together on Thursday. He could come and pick his items up with the monitoring of the neighbor I have across the street.
Okay, can I see?
He never came.
Can I see that?
He did not. Yes,
May I
you
see
can.
it?
I have a copy of those, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look. While she's looking.
This is the text message that my son sent him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Well, did you show up when you were supposed to?
When was I supposed to?
Next week we start at 6, so I'll be off at 4:30. Are you wanting to make the exchange at the sheriff's station? That works for me. If it would be easier, I can pick the things up at your place. Either way, I'm glad. Is there a response?
No, there wasn't.
Okay, your counterclaim for stalking and harassment is dismissed.
Your Honor.
I will put an order in that you and the company of a marshal may retrieve your grill and your laptop within 5 days of today. Do you understand?
I understand.
We're done.
Step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I am definitely stalking her for my stuff.
He was actually trying to pay for things when I told him I didn't want him to pay for things.
I sent her a message saying, hey, we're over. Let me get my things back. You'll never have to see me again.
He bought stuff when I said I didn't want it. My son even was there numerous times when I said, I don't want these things.
And she didn't comply. She threatened me with cops and stalking, and I said, well, I'll tell you what.
I absolutely will take my time to get to know somebody for sure.
If you don't give me a date and a time right now of when you're giving me my stuff, I'm filing small claims.
It was a rush. It was a rush.
I don't know. I think I'm a giving person, and some people are takers.
These items were given to me, and he doesn't deserve them back, to be honest with you.
We were fighting about nonsense, and, you know, she became standoffish. And
Because he's aggressive and abusive verbally.
I mean, there's plenty of trips that I paid for and meals for.
And he shouldn't be in a relationship ever until he gets some help.
Get stuff in writing?
I'm just glad he's out of my life. I wanted this to be over with today. So I'm happy.
While you were a squatter and not paying rent, she was your roommate.
Complaints from a freeloading renter.
What month's rent do you claim she didn't pay?
July and August.
Well, you locked her out in July.
Right.
And the next month wasn't much better.
She called the police stating that I had broken into the house and stole some of her property.
After she came back in, did you call the police again?
Yes.
I wouldn't stay there.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Heidi Gennaro is suing her former roommate, Stephanie Hernandez, for rent, late fees, attorney fees, and the cost to change their locks.
Order. All rise. It's case number 187 on the calendar in the matter of Gennaro versus Hernandez.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Gennaro, you were renting a house or condo.
A condo.
Or what? Were you renting it from the owner?
Yes.
What's the owner's name?
Hood.
When did you start renting the condo?
on December 22nd of 2015.
And what was your rent?
$1,650.
Sign a lease?
That's right.
For how long?
For a year.
When did you move out?
I moved out August 27th.
So well before your lease was up.
Well, 2016.
So you overstayed your lease?
That's correct.
Did you sign a new lease?
No.
Were you ever served an eviction notice?
No.
Never?
No.
3-day notice to quit?
Yes, that was it.
On what date?
I believe it was June 20th.
When was the last month that you can prove to me that you paid rent on this condo?
It was August 5th, 2016.
And how much did you pay?
$1,650.
And how much did you pay in July?
$1,650.
And in June, how much rent did you pay?
I paid the same amount, $1,650.
Then you want to explain to me why you were served with a 3-day notice to quit.
Because in June, my father passed away, and I became a little behind because I was sending some money over to my country.
How much you paid, according to you? After June, you paid all your rent.
That's correct. I sent her an email, and I explained to her my situation, and I let her know that I was going to pay her rent a little late, and she was okay with that.
No, you can't tell me what she was okay with, or even that you sent her an email. And she clearly wasn't okay with it because you were served with a 3-day notice to quit. And you did, in fact, leave. You were served with the notice to quit in August?
They were going to sell the property.
You know, we're going to get to the truth here. You understand that?
I do.
I'm glad you understand. We're going to get to the truth here. You've been doing what you do a long time. I've been doing what I do longer. So you found out that they were going to sell the property. You had some family problems. You stopped paying rent or were shorting on rent. They were going to sell the property anyway. So at some point, you became a squatter. Right.
I guess so.
I guess so. Now, while you were a squatter and not paying rent, she was your roommate.
Correct.
And your rent was $600 a month.
Correct.
You moved in with Miss Gennaro when?
December 30th, 2015.
So you moved in with her at the same time that she rented the place?
I moved in on December 30th, 2015. I don't know when she first made...
2015.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's 2014. December 20th, 2014. I'm sorry.
So you moved in a year later because you got the date wrong. And you were paying $600 a month. Your lawsuit says she didn't pay rent for a couple of months. She owes you money for rent. She owes you late fees. She owes you attorney's fees, and you changed the locks on her. Now, let me ask you this. When you moved out, after you got the 3-day notice to quit and you stayed a little while longer because the marshals were going to eventually come and throw you out, you ultimately left, owing the landlord rent. You owe the landlord rent.
No.
You were all caught up? Give me the landlord's number. The landlord was your landlord for 2 years. You're going to waste my time? I'm going to go there and find out.
Do you have my receipts?
Listen to me carefully. I'm going to call your landlord and find out when you moved if you were up to date on your rent. Now, you rented from this person for a couple of years, so you clearly have her number because you emailed her, you told me, and she wrote you back and said everything was okay. Is this going to be a waste of my time? I don't like to waste my time. Were you totally current with your rent when you moved out?
I was a week behind. I actually asked her...
Just a second. So what you're telling me is you were 1 week behind the $1,650 you moved out. Give me the date that you moved out.
Could I explain?
All I want to know is if I call the landlord, which is going to mean my having to get up from this chair, and I'm not a spring chicken, and go out that door and get on a phone. And I will get to your landlord, and I'm going to say, when Miss Gennaro moved out, did she owe you any rent? That's what I'm going to ask her. And is she going to say to me, well, she owed me a week? Is that what she's going to tell me? Or is she going to tell me that you owed her for several months, or you owed her $1,000, or you owed her $2,000, or you stopped paying your rent in June when your father got sick?
When my dad passed away, I got the notification. And then about a week later, which was June 28, I gave her $1,650 for the month of June.
You moved out in August.
Right. So then August came around.
You know, first comes July.
Okay, so July. Okay, so that's correct. So July came, and then I paid my rent I asked Ms. Hernandez to pay me her rent by text, and she refused to do that.
All I want to know is when you... Don't tell me anything about her.
Okay.
She doesn't have a lease with the landlord.
Correct.
You have a lease with the landlord. Am I going to get an answer to my question? At the time that you moved out in August, did you... So you got 2 notices. One that says you were late for your rent in June, and it was a 3-day notice to quit. And then subsequently you got a notice that said that they were selling the premises.
That's correct.
And that was in the same month. Well, it was actually posted the beginning of July.
That's right.
So what you're telling me is you paid rent for July and August. After you got these things, you paid your rent.
Mm-hmm.
And you lived there until when?
Until July 16th. That's when she locked me out.
Did you get back in?
Yes.
When?
August 2nd.
When did you move out?
I moved out August 20th.
Now, in the interim, because there was some sort of a kerfuffle between the 2 of you, you got a protective order against her, or she got one against you?
She got one against me.
Okay. But you still both live together?
Yes.
Except for the period of time that she was out because you would change the locks.
She changed her lock first.
And then you changed the lock back.
That's right.
Okay. And the judge told you that she could be there.
That's right.
So that she came back. What month's rent do you claim she didn't pay?
July and August.
Well, you locked her out in July, right?
Right.
So you don't get paid for July. And you moved back in August 2nd.
Yes.
Why didn't you pay rent for the month of August?
Because when I went, she called the police stating that I had broken into the house and stole some of her property. And then I, at that point, said I'm not going to live here because she told the officers if something happened to her, they would be responsible for it.
I thought you moved out at the end of August.
Correct. I was not living at the house on August after that. It was just more...
After what date?
After August 2nd, I just went in there, grabbed some belongings, and went to my parents' house.
Okay, so you had property in there.
Correct.
But you physically didn't live there.
Correct.
When you moved back in August, pursuant to the judge's direction that you could move back in, then she called the police again, and you left your property there, which ordinarily would mean that you're there. Is it true that while her property remained on the premises, she was not there after the beginning of August?
She was there.
When?
After August 2nd. The judge granted her with her restraining order.
No, I understand that you could be there.
And I could only be 3 yards away from her, assuming that...
I understand that the judge made that order. She says that she moved into her parents' home because after she moved back, because I assume your hearing was the beginning of August or the end of July, correct?
That's right.
And the judge, after she came back in, did you call the police again?
I called...
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
How many days after she moved back in?
The next day.
Great. And is what you're telling me, she remained after you called the police in August? She
yes.
remained?
Yes.
Personally, physically, she slept
yes.
in the house?
She was there off and on. I don't know. I was never there.
Oh.
So she was there. There were times that she was there and sometimes she was not there. I don't know.
Okay.
She was there sometimes, yes.
Right. Well, I would like to know what you think that she owes you. You locked her out in July. There was clearly problems in August where you called the police the day after she came in. I wouldn't stay there.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She put locks in her door.
She can put locks
it's
on
not
her
my
bedroom
property.
door. She put locks on the outer door, her bedroom door.
And her bedroom door.
She could put a lock on her bedroom door.
And that's because she broke in.
Shut! I don't want to hear. Don't speak unless you seem to be losing.
And later today,
I would like to know what your defense is. Your dog was off leash in an area where your dog was supposed to be leashed.
Yes, because the gate was broken, so...
I don't care whether the gate was broken or it was being sent off to Pluto.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Stephanie Hernandez owes for rent, late fees, attorney fees, and new locks. Stephanie is countersuing for an illegal lockout and harassment.
Go ahead.
She was there off and on throughout August and July. Even after and before I locked her in. She was coming in there with the police.
You're not entitled to any rent. I don't know if you're entitled to anything because it seems almost unfathomable to me that after you found out that they were selling the premises and they posted this 3-day notice to quit, you continued to pay rent even though you sort of fell behind in June and you only owe a week's rent. So what else do you think she owes you? Attorney's fees for what?
Because I needed to get some legal advice. I was not sure what I needed to do.
What you needed to do is not lock out your tenant.
Could I explain that?
No, you can't lock out your tenant. Just like your landlord can't lock you out.
She put locks in her door.
She can put locks
It's
on
not
her
my
bedroom
property.
door. She put locks on the outer door, her bedroom door.
And her bedroom door.
She could put a lock on her bedroom door.
And that's because she broke into...
Shut! I don't want to hear. Don't speak unless you seem to be losing. Okay, taken care of that. Money owed for expenses due to an illegal lockout and harassment.
Correct.
Where are you living now?
I am currently sleeping on the floor at my parents' house.
So you're living with your parents?
Correct.
How old are you? Great. She doesn't have to pay you any rent because you locked her out in July. She moved out in August after you called the police again. Your counterclaim for harassment is dismissed. We're done.
But I was locked out and she harassed me.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
According to her, she felt that she was going to get killed by me.
To kill me and get me out of there one way or another, she broke into my room with a weapon.
What I learned is that I think from now on, I guess it's best just not to have a roommate.
I'll live alone without anyone harassing me or banging on my door.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Furnace versus Bolanos. Step forward.
Corey Furnace is suing neighbor, 21-year-old Vianney Bolanos, for vet bills after her husky attacked his Papillon.
Mr. Furnace, it is your claim that the defendant's dog attacked yours.
Yes.
And her dog was in an area where she should have had a leash?
No. She was outside of the gated area with her dogs were out of... She was by the entry of the area where I was going when I walked up, but her dogs were off leash running around in the park.
Is it an area in the park where her dog was allowed to be off leash? What kind of dog do you have?
A husky and a chihuahua.
Do you have photographs of the area?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at the area that you're referring to. And I assume it wasn't the chihuahua that you claim attacked your dog?
No. The grassy area is the park area, and the dirt area would be the area where the dogs would be.
The dirt area is the dog park?
Yes. As you walk around on the pictures, you'll see that's the gate that's going to be separates the park and the dog
And the
area.
dog park?
Correct.
Where were you?
I walked up to that gate, and she was at that gate, but her dogs were not with her. They were running around in the park over off to the side, and I was carrying one of my dogs, and I had him on a leash, so she had looked at me at that point.
Okay, so your dog, the one that's here, this well-behaved little creature, was on a leash.
Yes.
And you were holding the other.
Yes.
And walking into the gate.
Correct.
And her dogs were outside of the gate.
Correct.
You assume she was going to walk into the gate and call her dogs.
Yes.
I assume. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So your defense is not, I assume, because if they were outside the fenced area, they were not permitted to be off leash. What I read in your answer is there was no attack.
I wouldn't say that, but...
Well, that's what you said in your answer. There was never an attack.
Well, he was going to kick my dog, so I pulled her. So my dog reacted, and my dog did bite his dog, but to say that she mauled his dog or shook it and, like, threw it on the floor, that did not even happen.
Is what...
And I read it, so...
I want to know what you... Just a minute. He's going to show me pictures, I assume, of the injuries to his dog and show me the vet bills. I would like to know what your defense is. Your dog was off-leash in an area where your dog was supposed to be leashed.
No, we were inside the off-leash dog area.
Your dogs were off-leash outside the area.
Yes, because the gate was broken, so...
I don't care whether the gate was broken or it was being sent off to Pluto in a rocket.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I wouldn't personally take my little dogs into an area where there are bigger dogs because...
Well, I was there already.
Your dogs were outside off-leash.
They were inside first.
They were inside first. They were inside a womb first.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Corey Furnace says neighbor Vianney Bolanos owes for vet bills due to a dog attack.
Your dogs were off-leash in an area where they were supposed to be on the leash until they got inside the gate.
Yes.
And then you take them off-leash.
Yes.
Now, so tell me what your defense is.
Okay. So you want me to tell you the full...
That's what you just told me. And now you're saying that this is wrong. There was sort of an attack. Your dog did bite his dog. Well, if your dog bit his dog, that's an attack.
Okay. I came into the park with my dogs both on leashes, and then I was inside the park. So, like I said, the gate was broken. So my small dog fit through under the gate. So my husky chased her. So that's when I was at the grassed area because I went to go get them. I don't care. So then I came back inside to get my dog's leash because that's where my dog's leash was, inside the park.
Inside the dog park, the fenced dog park.
Yes.
So we have to say fenced dog park and the greater park where your dogs have to be on a leash.
Okay.
So now your dogs are out in the greater park without a leash.
Yes.
And?
Okay, so then dogs are curious, obviously. So both of my dogs went up to...
I have 3 dogs. One is curious, one not so curious.
Well, they went up to like smell each other, whatever. So then he just started yelling at me and saying, "Get your dog off," and my dog wasn't doing anything yet. So I just grabbed my dog.
Wasn't doing anything yet?
Yes.
Is what you just said.
Well, so then I grabbed my dog's leash. I was about to go, and then both of my dogs ran the off-leash gated area. When we were there, this is when he started just like yelling at me and just like saying, "Your dog's killing my dog," but my dog wasn't doing anything. So then he starts cussing at me. He just like...
May I please see photographs of the dog, please, and the vet bills? That's an attack.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Listen, if you have a big dog, you have to keep the dog on the leash all the time, unless the dog is in a fenced area that is designed for just dogs. And then if he comes in and he sees a big husky, he can make a determination as to whether or not he wants to take his little dog into a fenced-in area where there are big dogs. I wouldn't personally take my little dogs into an area where there are bigger dogs because...
Well, I was there already for like 40 minutes.
Your dogs were outside off-leash.
They were inside first.
They were inside first. They were inside. That's also true. But at the time that this happened, they were off-leash where they weren't supposed to be. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $864. We're done. Thank you.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Her dog came breaking in through the gate where we were and attacked my dogs.
My dog didn't hurt his dog until he cussed and tried kicking my dog.
It's the scariest day I ever had.
Yeah, my dog reacted, but I've had this dog 7 years. She's never had a problem.
Be responsible.
My dog bit his dog, but it's not how like he makes it seem.
So you had a long-term live-in relationship.
From loving couples
The relationship broke down.
to stubborn roommates,
Neither one of you wanted to leave the apartment.
but she still leaned on her ex.
How did you split the rent?
I paid my half. When she couldn't afford her half, I had to cover it.
You didn't fulfill your end of the obligation. Once she becomes your roommate, she's got to pay her bills.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ryan Riemann Schneider is suing his ex-girlfriend, Catherine Anderson.
All rise. It's case number 166 on the calendar, the matter of Riemann Schneider versus Anderson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Mr. Raymond Schneider, you and the defendant were a couple and rented an apartment together. What month and year did you lease the apartment?
Originally, we leased the apartment several years ago. I would think it's in July of 2013.
Did you renew the lease?
Yes.
The last renewal of the lease was when?
That would have been last year.
Month,
I would say probably around June.
And then there came a time when the relationship broke down, and that was when?
I couldn't exactly give a date, Your Honor. I would
How about
say
a month?
A month? I would
You
say
know? What month?
Thanksgiving Day last year, 2015.
Okay. Now, so you had a long-term live-in relationship. You renewed the lease at least twice. Did you own 2 cars?
Separate vehicles, yes.
Yes. You had a job?
Yes, part-time. I was going to school full-time as well.
How were you supporting yourself other than the part-time job?
Student loans. grants and scholarships that I received.
And what were you doing, Miss Anderson?
In November, I had
Not
started...
November, in 2015.
I was working.
For whom?
Part-time.
For whom?
At
time.
I just had that job, which I still carry now.
How do you support yourself?
With this job.
Okay. So you both were working part-time. You may have had student loans. I don't know what else you did to complete your income package, but each one of you were paying your own bills, correct?
Yes.
You bought your own clothes?
Correct.
You bought your own clothes?
Yes, Your Honor.
You paid your own car note and insurance?
That's right.
You paid your own car note and insurance?
Correct.
Okay. And that was out of a checking account?
Yes.
That was out of a checking account?
That's right.
Did you ever have a joint checking account?
No.
Okay. Then you had other bills. Then you had basic household bills. How much was the rent?
Recently, it was $750, Your Honor.
Okay, so it was $750. And how was the rent split?
I would say 50-50, Your Honor.
What do you mean you would say? What does that mean?
I paid my half. When she couldn't afford her half, I had to cover it.
So you covered her half of the rent?
A lot of the times, yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct, with an exception that I paid for other bills, including electricity bills and gas bills and other things on top of
Well,
it.
other things. What other things?
Groceries every now and then, the cable bill and the internet bills every now and then, too, what I could pay.
Okay, so what you're telling me is when you could afford it, you paid half of the rent. When you couldn't afford it, he covered the rent.
Correct, with his agreement.
And some groceries.
And including the gas bill, too.
And a gas bill.
Yes.
Okay. Then in November, things went south, and this is what the case is about. There came a time, Miss Anderson, when neither one of you wanted to leave the apartment. Each one of you wanted the apartment. And so we were at a stalemate. You're each on the lease and decided to do what I think is impossible to do after a long-term relationship, stay in an apartment together and run your lives separately. But you, sir, say that there came a point where Miss Anderson, who wanted to remain in the apartment, wanted you to leave, stopped paying rent at all. And when was that?
I couldn't say exactly, Your Honor.
Well,
because...
listen to me. This is a court. This is not a guessing game. You filed a lawsuit. Your lawsuit said at some point she stopped paying any rent. She stopped paying any bills. She was basically a squatter because you were no longer a couple. So you have to tell me when that happened. In what month?
I couldn't tell you exactly what month, Your Honor, because, for example, all of last year I paid for every month. Even some of these bills that she speaks of, Your Honor, the cable bill, the gas bill, I paid those as well.
I don't care. As long as you're in a couple relationship and enjoying each other, sharing a bedroom, sharing a life together, doing things together as a couple, I don't care whether she paid the rent or she didn't pay the rent. Perks of the relationship. No longer go out to dinner together, go to a movie together, snuzzle at night together. She might even bring a new boyfriend. Is that a new boyfriend? Might even bring a new boyfriend home at night. So at that point, that person is no longer your girlfriend or your partner. She becomes your roommate. Once she becomes your roommate, she's got to pay her bills. So I'm going to ask you again. In what month after November of 2015 did she stop paying rent?
In November.
Okay, and when did she move out?
She moved out in June of this year.
Okay, so November, Thanksgiving, since she remembers what date it was that you finally had a blow up, was Thanksgiving Day. That's the end of November. So you have December, January, February, March, April, May, and you moved out when in June?
June 1st.
6 months rent. And the rent was $750?
That's right.
Now, I suppose if I asked you whether you had any proof that you paid rent after starting in December, you would say I did not pay rent.
I can say that, yes.
Okay, so you did not pay rent. So now you're going to show me, I assume, consistent with what your position was, all the paid bills that you paid in December for gas, electric, and cable.
And on there, it looks like I just paid the energy bill for that month.
So you paid only energy bills the month of December?
For that specific
Just
month.
a second. So that somebody else had to pay the cable, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you get no credit for that. Great. Now, what about January?
January of 2016, I have a check stub here that I wrote to Ryan for $375, including some grocery bills that I can prove.
I'd like to see that. Did you receive any rent? This is all crossed out. This is all crossed. This is not a check.
It's the carbon copy of the check, Your Honor.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't at all. It's a carbon copy of nothing. It's a carbon copy of something that you wrote yesterday. What's next? February.
Okay, well, I have a carbon copy also for $375 that I wrote to Ryan.
That you wrote
for
yesterday.
rent.
Go ahead. I want to see a canceled check. You know what a canceled check is from a bank?
I do not.
How old are you?
32.
Well, if you're 32 years old, you should know what a canceled check is from a bank. Go.
Is that the same
Next.
as a voided
Next.
check? Okay.
Next.
Continues in a moment.
Pursuant to an arrangement that you testified to earlier, where he paid all of the rent and you paid the utility bills. Then you had a big fight. It was clearly a hostile environment. And then you decided to pay your half of the rent. Is that what you want me to believe?
And later today,
She's a pizza delivery person?
Yes.
In whose car was she delivering pizzas?
In her car.
Well, what were you doing there?
Helping her.
Helping her how?
She needed a babysitter.
So you had the baby in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe a word you just said to me.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ryan Riemann Schneider says ex-girlfriend Catherine Anderson owes for rent after she broke up with him and refused to move out.
What you say, actually, Miss Anderson, is so totally unbelievable because your whole case was that you never paid your half of the rent because that was your agreement. Your agreement was he paid all of the rent and you paid the rest of the bills. So now I'm asking you to show me the bills that you paid. January, February, March, April, and May. The other bills, so far you have nothing. Because you paid one electric bill for December, but then he had to cover the other utilities. And he also paid the rent, which you did not. So let's move on.
For February to pay for the gas and the electricity bills.
And what about the cable?
Cable.
It's not an answer. You don't have, so he paid the cable.
Your Honor, can I say something?
No, it's not necessary.
Okay.
Not necessary. You paid the gas and the electric, so he paid the cable. So you didn't fulfill your end of the obligation.
Correct.
What's next? March, April, May. Let's go.
I have a lot of carbon copies of the checks that apparently aren't working here. So I don't know. I mean,
so
can
all
I
of a
explain
sudden,
myself?
let me understand something.
Yeah.
So almost 3 years you lived together, pursuant to an arrangement that you testified to earlier, where he paid all of the rent, because that's what it also says in your answer, and you paid the utility bills. Then you had a big fight in November. Neither one of you wanted to move. It was clearly a hostile environment, right? And then you decided to pay your half of the rent.
Yeah.
Is that what you want me to believe?
Some months I did, some months I didn't.
No, but you have carbon copies for every month. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $22.50. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
How was I supposed to make her leave?
If he had a problem with me not paying rent, I don't understand why he's suing me now.
Am I supposed to evict my own ex-girlfriend from the lease?
I brought a guy that I was seeing at the time over.
It's a very rude thing to do.
That was the trigger point for him to sue me.
And now, the next case.
Step forward.
Louise Chapman is suing her former friend, Stephanie Boyd, for damage to her car's sunroof.
Miss Chapman, how long have you and Miss Boyd been friends?
I've known Stephanie Boyd for about 15 years, 16 years.
And you have children, is that right?
Yes, I have two kids, one 10 and one is going on 2 years old.
And there came a time when you needed a place to stay.
Yes.
When was that?
This is around, I say, the end of June, around the beginning of July.
Of last year?
Yes, ma'am.
And she invited you to come and stay with her until you got on your feet?
Yes, she did.
And when Miss Boyd invited you into her home in June or July, you weren't paying any rent?
No.
No rent. How long did you stay with her?
I stayed with her up until, I say, around March.
So, let's say 9 months.
Yes.
And during those 9 months, she paid the rent. It was her house?
No, it was not. No, it was another friend of mine's. It was her house. So we were all roommates, and she was paying the rent.
Who was paying the rent?
The other friend. Her name was Celia.
You weren't paying any rent?
This was prior to I moved out of my home. When she first ran back into me, I had my own apartment at the time.
I'm talking about in July. Where were you living? With whom?
We were staying with our friend Celia.
And did that continue until March?
Yes.
Who paid the rent?
Celia.
You did not pay rent either?
No.
Just for my own information, why would your friend Celia cover the two of you for rent?
My lease was up on my apartment, and so in between homes, I asked her if I could stay with her. She said if push comes to shove, I have a second room. No one's in there. You're more than welcome to come. And at that time, Louise was also with me.
She was with you?
Well, she was, I guess, stayed a night, went back to wherever she was, and then came back, stayed a couple nights, and then she was staying with another friend of hers in North St. Louis at the time as well.
Well, when did you all move in with Celia?
We both moved in. Cece had invited me, and she kind of came.
What month?
This was July, the beginning of July.
Okay. So had you been staying with Miss Boyd before that?
No, I was
in
not.
her apartment?
No, I was not staying with her in her apartment. No, I was not.
You still didn't answer my question as to why Celia would...
Because she was my best friend at the time.
Okay, and you came along for the ride?
Yes.
All right, fine. This is what the case is about. It is your claim that Ms. Boyd broke the sunroof on your car. You want her to pay for it?
Yes.
Ms. Boyd says you broke that yourself. Okay, so tell me when she broke the sunroof on your car.
She broke the sunroof on my car around the month of September.
September of last year?
Yes, we had an agreement that as long as I was working, that she would transport my daughter back and forth to daycare as long as she was able to use my car to also get back and forth to, I say, business meetings and also to transport her cookies. She was doing a cookie business that she had.
So the deal was she could use your car to transport your daughter, to take your daughter, because you were working.
Yes.
Fine. So this happened in September. Tell me what happened in September.
Okay. She dropped me off at a doctor's appointment, and she dropped my daughter off to daycare, and she went to pick her up. When she came back to pick me up, she tells me, Louise, I dropped a pin inside of the sliding track of your sunroof. And she said, I forgot to get the pin out, and I tried to close your sunroof, and it made a noise. I say, did you get the pin out, though? She said, yes, I got the pin out. So now your sunroof won't close.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
After this incident, you lived together September, October, November, December, January, February, and March. So my question is, why almost a year later are you suing her?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Louise Chapman says former friend Stephanie Boyd damaged her sunroof. She is suing for the cost to fix it.
Okay, how did that happen?
I was helping her while she was on the clock. She was a delivery driver for a pizza company that's in St. Louis.
I don't care about that. I want to know how the pen got stuck in the sunroof. Don't look there. Here.
We were all making a police report. We were all riding on top of the vehicle. It was me.
Who was making a police report?
Me, Louise, and the officers, and maybe one other person.
Why were you making a police report?
Because an incident had happened at her job that day while I was working with her that needed a police report.
What
That's
incident?
not true, Your Honor.
She got hit by a car while she was on the job, and we had to come back to make a police report.
That's not true, Your Honor.
I don't want you to say anything. You see how she let you talk? No, I want to go further. This is in September of 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
She got hit by a car.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I want you to remember, this is very easy to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
She called you?
No, I was working with her. She was working as a delivery driver, and we were driving. I was helping her babysit her child because she didn't have a sitter at the time.
No. She's a pizza delivery person?
Yes.
In whose were you doing there?
Helping her.
Helping her how?
Because she could not see at night at the time, and she needed a babysitter.
So you had the baby in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe a word you just said to me.
It's very true.
You have a police report?
The police report, I do not have it. No, I do not have it with me.
You have a police report?
No, it was one made.
Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Did you have an attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Was there a lawsuit filed against anyone in that accident?
No, Your Honor, because that's not true.
What's not true?
What she just got through describing.
Just a second. I'm asking you a question. Was there an accident?
No, Your Honor, there was not an accident at all.
Okay. So this sunroof broke as a result of somebody dropping a pen on the top of the car.
Yes.
Okay, getting into. And my question to you, Miss Chapman, is after this incident, you lived together in the home September, October, November, December, January, February, and March.
Yes.
So my question is, why almost a year later are you suing her? You lived together. She continued to use your car to transport your daughter, continued to take her to daycare. You worked, baked cookies, lived in the house together. Why, a year later, are we here?
Due to the fact because I watched my kid, and she didn't move out the house until February of 2016, and she gave me the runaround saying that she would pay for the sunroof. And I was working only a temp job, so I tried saving up money to get the sunroof fixed. But while trying to save up money to get the sunroof fixed, I was also right along with helping Celia with bills and also house materials for the house at the same time. So that was all hard at one time.
When was the sunroof fixed?
The sunroof didn't get fixed until May of this year because I wound up getting an actual stable job instead of a temp job.
I'd like to see photographs of the broken sunroof.
I don't have pictures of the broken sunroof.
Well, but you could see it was broken, correct?
Yes, I could see that it was broken.
Yeah, I assume that if you felt as if she was responsible, you would use that iPhone that you've got there to take a picture of it if you thought you might sue her.
That I should have, but I didn't take pictures of the broken sunroof.
You certainly should have.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Oh, Bert, can I have your glasses? I think I left mine inside. Am I going to be blind from your glasses? Does that say 580-58?
I have my glasses. 580-58, exactly.
Great. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of 580-58. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't care who broke it. She literally came to me and was like, I broke your sunroof.
Obviously, somebody left a pin up there. We get in the car. She pushes the button. Crack. Oh, snap.
How did you forget you dropped the pin in her?
Life is life.
As they say in the world, nothing is free.
You have a common property line.
Yes, ma'am.
And there's been some difficulty.
Neighbors in a land war.
You did a survey.
She said that my survey was wrong. She didn't agree with it, and so she went ahead and built a fence on it.
The fence that she built was on your property, and you forced her to take it down.
Can the judge knock down barriers to peace?
If this, we both need to be on some serious medication.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Christine Boisier is suing her neighbor, Elizabeth Allen, for damages resulting from the construction of a fence.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 154 on the calendar in the matter of Boisier versus Allen.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Boisier, how long have you lived in your home?
We moved in July 4th, 1999.
And how long have you been in your home?
End of October last year, 2015.
And you are neighbors. Your properties are adjacent to each other. Is that correct?
Her property sits behind mine.
It sits behind yours, but it touches your property. You have a common property line.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct? And there's been some difficulty, I gather. Your complaint is that the defendant built part of a fence on your property to enclose her property.
Yes, ma'am.
You did a survey.
Yes, ma'am.
That survey indicated that the fence that she built was on your property.
Yes, ma'am.
And you forced her to take it down.
Yes, ma'am.
Who took it down? Either you took it down or you had a fence company take it down. And in taking it down, the poles of your property were damaged and had to be repaired. In addition, you think that Miss Allen should pay for the survey that you were forced to do.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a problem because you say that you also had to do a survey.
Yes, ma'am.
To counter the plaintiff's survey.
Yes,
so you want her to pay for your survey. And something about the removal of some trees that both the plaintiff and other neighbors objected to, that you were planning to remove, that were on your property.
Yes, ma'am.
And tree companies came to remove the trees. The plaintiff and some other neighbors became tree huggers, wouldn't let them remove the trees. You want them to pay for that. Okay, so let's deal with it relatively quickly. I'm not awarding either of you anything for conducting a survey of your property. I happen to think that that's always a very good idea. You are a new neighbor, and if there are any issues with regard to the property and the property lines, you should conduct a survey. Similarly, if you have an issue with a neighbor to protect your property, and the fence that she built is in the rear of your property?
Yes, ma'am. She contested the first survey that we did have done.
That's okay. She is permitted to do that. How large a parcel of property do you have, Miss Boysher?
0.225 acres.
And how large a piece of property?
I'm not exactly. No, I would say it's probably it's less than half an acre.
This fence that's at the back of your property, is that fence visible from your house?
Yes.
How much of an encroachment was there?
May I show you?
Yes.
The first fence that she attempted to build was from the point of her lot over to our fence on this side. The survey then showed that she was encroaching over here. So she, in turn, went and built a fence here. That's what this line is right here, and just attached to our fence on this side, encroaching. It starts probably, I would say, maybe less than a foot here and increases up to a little bit more than a foot at this. It's a pie shape.
So it's minimal.
Yes.
Step back. So that the only thing that I'm actually now interested in on your side is evidence of the damaged post that you say existed as a result of her removing the fence.
Well, when she had the fence removed, we were home, my husband and I at the time.
So you knew who removed the fence?
I don't know who. I mean,
they were other people. It wasn't the defendant.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so it was a company.
I don't know. It was just.
Who removed the fence?
My fence company, and it wasn't actually a fence. It was one board that was moved. The fence is still there. It's been built. But she had stated that it was across her prop board that was removed. Okay. It's not actually a fence.
Okay, do you have a picture of that?
No, I do not.
Okay, so your fence people removed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I want to see proof that that post was damaged as a result of the removal of that board. Let me see.
I have, the first picture is the her fence post that's right next to my fence post. This one shows where it was bent. And the third picture shows a little bit better where the post has broke off at the bottom when they installed the fence post on her lot. It damaged mine. And at the same time, they cut the cable line. The main cable line was in that area, and they cut that too, because none of the utilities had been previously marked when she put the fence up.
So am I correct that...
It's the second post in, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This one?
Yes, ma'am. The second post in is the one that was busted. And it's in direct line with the post that, I guess, her fence people put up.
Can I see a picture? I haven't even seen a picture. I don't even know about a post.
Are you talking about this split in the...
No, ma'am. The post itself...
Oh, I see.
The post itself was...
You're talking about down here?
Yeah, the post itself was broke when they erected her fence on her property.
Would you show these to the defendant, please? Anything else? Anything else?
The survey, I just feel that.
Survey? I don't care what you feel.
Well, I have a second survey. Good. Because she contested it, but she knew the property lines because her survey was done.
Don't tell me what she knew.
Well...
Okay. Now, Miss Allen, I don't actually see such a big deal when you're talking about less than a foot of property that should create bad feeling and animus between two neighbors that are going to have to live together. So I actually don't understand it, but you're certainly entitled to bring a lawsuit if you feel as if your property has been encroached upon. It clearly had it been encroached upon. She knew she had to move it. She moved it. You want to do a survey, second survey? She asked for it. Somebody evidently said, do it. Did you go to the town?
No, ma'am.
Were you involved with the town? At all? Were you involved with any authority?
No. It's just when she contested that survey, the original survey.
When you say she contested, that usually is a legal term.
She said that my survey was wrong. She didn't agree with it, and so she went ahead and built a fence on it. After that, then I obtained a survey to show that she was wrong.
Okay, and you fixed it because she...
Well, I actually never knew she had a survey in the beginning. I had got my own
I don't
survey.
Care. You want to tell me about the trees now?
Yeah, and I don't...
You want to tell me about the trees?
Yes, ma'am. I have trees on the other side of my property, and when I was trying to build my fence, that's when the issue became over my property line. I already have evidence here. I spoke with the HOA and got approval for this fence before I even purchased my house.
I'm not concerned about the fence.
That is where I tried to originally build my fence. The plaintiff was with my neighbor and telling my neighbors that those trees per her survey, were not on my actual property line, that they were the neighbor's property.
That they were on whose property?
My neighbor's property.
Somebody else's property,
Correct.
not hers.
Correct. So she was informing them that they weren't. So
that they were not your trees
Correct.
to take down.
Correct. That they were the neighbor's
belonged
trees.
to some other neighbor.
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon her survey.
Yes, ma'am.
And
as I was trying to remove the trees, the plaintiff and the neighbors got in the middle of where the tree company was there trying to remove the trees.
And
they could not remove all the trees. They stood in the way of their work.
Okay. Because according to her survey, those trees were on a neighbor's property line.
Yeah, but it was incorrect. They were not per the survey.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else?
I do have a video showing where they were trying to get in the way of the fence and everything being built.
I don't care.
Okay.
My sense is that these people are not erratic nuts, that there was a legitimate belief that those are not your trees to cut down, and I assume that you eventually cut down the trees.
Most of them, they're still half there. I couldn't finish the work. I paid a tree company.
So that you did not cut down the trees.
Only half of them.
That are contested. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You did not cut down the trees that are contested. Is that correct?
Yes.
Damage there. Actually, as a result of any fence, I can't tell whether that was done before, after, whether it was cut. I don't see any major damage, and certainly the fence is certainly upright. And you have no case on a counterclaim. We're done. If you can't live together in these terrible times, if this is what is occupying your time, a foot, a tree, a half a foot post, then I think that you probably both need to be on some serious medication. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
If she would have just came to us and spoke to us first without doing it vindictively behind our back.
They harassed me for a really long time. I finally built my fence between us.
It probably would have been solved outside of court.
I don't have to see them, like she said. I have neighbors on the other side.
Oh, the neighbors we're all on our side.
They're welcoming me there, so.
I kind of feel bad because they all kind of took our side. And
know your rights, and when you deal with crazy people, just don't stop.
She's kind of out in the cold there, but wrong is wrong.
Yeah, stick up for your rights.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lacey versus Coolman. Step forward.
Gordon Lacey is suing Scott Coolman for the return of a trailer.
Mr. Lacey, let me try to understand what happened. You had a trailer. Do you have a picture of that trailer?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it. And the trailer was stolen on what date?
It was over the...
Had it been parked, sir?
It was at my warehouse.
This is the trailer?
That's a building that was at the place that fabricated it for me to meet my needs.
No, I'm just asking you, to me, a trailer is a different thing. So this just carries something.
Yes.
You used it to transport things.
Transport a tow motor, yes, ma'am.
Okay. It was stolen from your warehouse in August of 2015. And when did you report it stolen?
Reported it stolen the 24th. That was a Monday.
In August?
In August, yes, ma'am.
Reported? No, you have the police report.
Yes, ma'am.
May I see it? Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He pulled up next to you. I assume he said something like, "That's my trailer."
Yeah, he just asked me to pull into a gas station.
Tell me about the conversation that you had with the plaintiff when he pulled into the gas station.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gordon Lacey is accusing Scott Coolman of possessing a trailer that belongs to him.
Okay. Subsequently, who saw a trailer that you thought was yours?
I did.
When? Where did you see it?
I was at a red light, stopped at a red light, and the trailer had pulled up beside me.
And who was driving it?
Two men.
Was this one of the gentlemen?
He was one of them that was in the van. I'm not sure who was driving, but
whatever he was driving was pulling the trailer.
Pulling the trailer, yes, ma'am.
Could you stand up for me? Tell me your name, please.
Jeff Nyheisel.
Who do you work for, sir?
I work for Scott.
And what kind of business is that?
We do docks and doors, welding, plant maintenance.
How long have you worked for him?
Around 10 years.
Are you the only employee?
No, there's 6 or 7 guys, I believe.
Who work full-time. So it's a substantial business.
Yes, ma'am.
And when he pulled up next to you, I assume he said something like, "That's my trailer."
Yeah, he just asked me to pull into a gas station, and I did. And he said that was his trailer. And, you know, when I pull a trailer, they just told me to hook to a trailer, and I hooked to the trailer. So that's just what I had that day.
And how many trailers does your boss have?
7 or 8. That's it.
And when we're saying trailers that look like this, that you just put something on and you move machinery on it.
Right.
So he has 7 or 8 of those.
Yes.
Does one trailer to you look pretty much like another?
They look a lot alike. Yeah, they look a lot alike.
I mean, are they different size trailers?
Yeah, they'll pull different weights or different.
Oh, for sure, sir. Whether or not you had ever used this particular trailer to load things and haul them before.
I have.
Tell me about the conversation that you had with the plaintiff when he pulled into the gas station.
He pulled me in there and he said that that was his trailer, and I just said, well, you know, this is our company's trailer. And he called the police, and I stayed there, and they showed up, and pretty much there was no way of actually at the scene deciding whose trailer this was. Because I just work for him. So I'm just pulling the trailer. So pretty much.
That's all you know.
That's all I know.
And the trailer was confiscated.
Correct.
Subsequently, you got the trailer back.
Yes, ma'am.
I assume that you brought some proof.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you brought proof to me, but I assume you also brought proof
This
of
is the
ownership.
same thing I showed the police.
Well, this shows that you bought a trailer in 2012.
That's correct.
Well before
yes, ma'am.
His trailer was stolen, but this trailer has a different serial number.
Here's the serial number that's on the plate.
May I see it?
Judge Judy. That's a Corn Pro trailer, and this was not a Corn Pro trailer. It was a homemade trailer. So where he got this is beyond me.
Come off the trailer I purchased.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gordon Lacey is accusing Scott Kuhlman of possessing a trailer that belongs to him.
What do you mean the serial number on the plate?
There's a VIN number, I believe. That's like an ID plate that's on the trailer.
Would you have him show me what that is? Is that this ST number?
I don't know.
ST225, this number right here?
It should be like the VIN number, maybe. I don't know. It should say CP something, I thought.
Would you show this to him and ask him to point out what he's made reference to?
It's this number up here. Certainly.
Which one? Oh, this.
Barely see that one right there.
Oh, I see. Mr. Kuhlman, I see what you've circled here. It looks as if it's been rubbed out, but the numbers, these are the VIN numbers that are on. I'd like to show it to you. And I want you to look at the VIN number on the trailer and compare it to the purchase date and the certificate of registration that he has from, he said he purchased it in 2012. Take a look. See where the numbers are light?
Yes, ma'am.
The same.
I have no idea. I mean, what I'm saying is that's a Corn Pro trailer, and this was not a Corn Pro trailer. It was a homemade trailer. So where he got this is beyond me.
Come off the trailer I purchased.
Maybe you bought this, but it wasn't this trailer that we're speaking of. This is a totally different trailer than this. You have 7 or 8 trailers, so it could be one of his trailers. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not the trailer in question.
What they did is when they released the trailer to them, they looked on the trailer, and this was on the trailer.
No, ma'am, it wasn't. Not on my trailer.
Well, but it was on his trailer.
Yes, ma'am, it is, with the license plate.
And he didn't put it on the trailer. Listen to me. He didn't put this on the trailer, sir. It was there the day it was confiscated.
The police couldn't find it. That was a whole issue. That's why they confiscated the trailer, because there was no identification.
That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
That's not what I know from any report. Do you have a report that says that the reason they confiscated the trailer is because there was no identification on it? Do you have a report that says that?
Not a report. That's what the police officer said.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Your case is dismissed, sir. The proof that he served me was perfectly satisfactory to me to demonstrate that I cannot make a determination by the required quantum of proof here that this man either bought stolen property or is responsible for stealing your trailer. The VIN number that was attached to the trailer, albeit scratched out, albeit somebody tried to get the black number off it, but if you look at it, it is totally consistent with this document, which shows that it was purchased in 2012 by his company. By the way, if it was...
No, ma'am.
Why not?
It just wasn't. It just wasn't. I have 2 or 3 trailers and only
You have
one
how
is.
many?
2 or 3. I have 3 trailers.
What do you use your 3 trailers for?
One's a box trailer, one is a high, heavy equipment trailer, and this one was for hauling my forklift. Sole purpose I bought it was to haul my forklift.
Forklifts, which means you have a business.
Yes, ma'am. I buy and sell restaurants.
So, which means you have a business. And is what you're telling me that your business does not have insurance that covers stolen property?
Not the trailers. My vehicles, my trucks, it does. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think that you should seriously consider increasing your insurance. Case is dismissed.
Thank you, Judge. Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I saw it. I built the trailer. It was custom made, and it pulled up beside me at the light, and that's my trailer.
I bought the trailer in 2012. I had the right documentation.
Whatever he showed the judge